Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. As promised, I'm going to restart my money grind method week. Now in terms of this week, it was supposed to start on Monday, then Tuesday. Unfortunately, just due to some other issues, it never came around. So we're going to start off with one of the strongest methods in the entire game. This is looking back at the AFK Honda Beat, which is still working after update 1.49 and the whole physics changes. So let's get straight into it, as it's a little bit more complex than the typical build video. So the first thing you're going to need is to get your hands on the Honda Beat. This is one of the cheapest cars in the game, 14,400 credits. It will rotate in and out of the used car dealership, so just keep your eye out for this one. Next up, you're also going to need to head over to Brand Central, head into Dodge and pick yourself up the SRT Tomahawk X VGT. This one's a bit more pricey at 1,000,000 credits. Don't worry too much, you'll make it back in no time. So first of all, let's start off with the body modifications to the Honda Beat. So you won't need to wide body this car, so keep it standard. However, you will need to buy the engine swap. This will be the K20 engine swap, so go ahead and pick that up. Now in terms of the wheels, these are completely standard in default trim, so it's going to be the front 13-inch, and then we're going to have the rim width as standard as well as the offset. Next up, we're going to head over to the custom parts section. Now in terms of the front bumper, it's going to be the Type B front bumper. Then we're going to head over to the side of the car. This is also going to be a Type B side skirt. Now next up, we're going to head over to the wing. It's going to be a custom wing set, which is going to be a high wing and a Type 7 end plate. Doesn't matter too much, but this is exactly what I'm running on the build. So now we're going to make two separate builds for the same Honda Beat. So of course it's going to run the K20C1. We're aiming to get it in the 200 pp range. So what you're going to do is things like comfort hard tires, keep the suspension as standard, the diff as standard, the sort of downforce and aero have that running at the amount where it sort of puts it to the minimum. You can add things like ballast as well if you really want to. Basically keep the entire car standard. However, there will be a few things that have to be permanently on the car, and that is mainly for the max build, which we're going to be building after this one. So the first build, you're trying to get it into the 200 to 300 pp range, getting it running absolutely terribly basically. So in terms of the permanent mods, we've got bore up, stroke up, polish ports, all of the weight reductions. This is because they're going to run on that max build, which I'm going to go ahead and show you now. My rating is 293.59 pp. Feel free to pause and copy. We're then going to run the max build. So again, it's the exact same car, it's just another tuning sheet. We're going to run it with racing softs, fully customizable suspension. Of course, this allows us to edit it, so the body height is 90 across, anti-roll bar is 10 across, compression is 40 across, expansion is 50, natural frequency is 320 and 335, no negative camber angle, no toe angle, and then on to the differential, which once again is going to be fully customizable. Now in terms of the initial torque, this is set at 60, acceleration at 60, and braking sensitivity at 5. We're then going to run nitrous on this build. We're going to set the output adjustment to 70, which is the maximum. Then head over to the fully customizable racing transmission, set it to 170, and here's the manual adjustments. So 3.500 on the final. For the fifth, it's 0.621-363. Fourth is 0.729-288. Third is going to be 0.906-232. Second is going to be 1.203-175. And then first is going to be 3.253-64. So to continue on with this build, we're going to run the fully customizable racing transmission. Obviously, we're also going to run the fully customizable ECU, the downforce 0 and 200, high RPM turbocharger, anti-lag system set to strong, racing intercooler, basically all of the racing parts. So air cleaner, silencer, exhaust manifold. Don't worry about the brakes because we're not going to be using them at all. So you really don't need to change those. It's just absolutely extra money that you wouldn't need to spend. Then we've got the racing clutch and flywheel, and then of course we've still got the same permanent mods, so bore up, stroke up, polish ports, and all three stages of weight reduction, and that is going to be your maximum build. Now this isn't the only car we're actually going to have to build up for this method, so let's head over to the Tomahawk. This one is super simple. You're keeping it to the maximum amount of PP, so it's going to be racing soft compounded tyre. Don't worry about the suspension, that is completely irrelevant. However, we are going to change the transmission to fully customizable racing. Set it to 500 and then copy these gear ratios. So manual adjustment, if we head down to the bottom, the final is going to be 5.130, and then we're going to go through the gears as so. So 7th is going to be 2.001-205, 6th is going to be 4.290-92, 5th is 4.794-82. Then we also have the 4th and 3rd gear, which cannot be edited and it will just go as such depending on how you've set the others, so don't worry about those ones. However, just ensure that they do match. 2nd is 4.797-82 and 1st is 4.799-82. Now in terms of the rest of the build, it is pretty much standard. We're not power reducing anything like that. You want it to run the maximum amount of power and maximum PP. So there you go, that is the builds. Next up, you're going to head into Americas for this one. You're going to head over to Daytona International Speedway. Now you want to ensure that this section here says 400% bonus. There's two ways to get this. The first is, I believe, to hit level 50 as it goes off of your collector level, so ensure you're level 50, and also secondly, complete all gold medals on the circuit experience. Now once you head into the event, or before should I say, make sure you're driving your 300 PP build. Head over to the tri-oval in a custom race and load up your settings. Now if you want to AFK, I recommend about 25 laps. However, if you want to run it yourself, which is manually, which is of course faster, then go ahead and set it to 12 laps. 10 to 12 is usually the typical sweet spot for this one. Now in terms of the car, it's going to be 20. Put yourself at the back of the grid and then once again just follow these settings. Now not much of this really means anything, just ensure that the nitro says 10 times. Rivals is going to be select from garage and then head over to the garage itself. Now you want to ensure that it's all of the Tomahawks set up with that tune enabled. Put yourself at the back, put them on professional, and you're pretty much good to go. Now once you get in, before you start the race, switch back to your max build and there you go. You're basically still going to get the same reward as if you was running the worst possible build. So as you can see, we've switched to the max. This is the faster build, and then there we go. We're just going to enter the event and you'll be able to use that maximum output build to absolutely smash the Tomahawks whilst getting paid as if it was that 200 PP build, giving you the most reward possible. Now in terms of the run itself, we're just going to do 12 laps. Again, if you want to AFK, just use the rubber band method, where basically you'll just wall ride the entire track. Now in terms of the clean race bonus, it's really not that awkward to get. The only thing that will stop you getting it is if you hit one of the AI vehicles. So if you really want to, you can go ahead and wall ride and such like that. As long as you don't hit the Tomahawks, you are absolutely golden for that clean race bonus. Now in terms of the car itself, it's a very, very awkward build. However, it will pretty much suck itself to the banking and sort of carry itself around. So although it's a little bit skittish, a little bit awkward to drive, once you get used to it, it can be insanely quick. Now typically you'll be aiming for around about 40 seconds a lap. Just know once you do get a lap where you're overtaking the Tomahawks, that is when it's genuinely going to be a little bit slower by maybe a second or two. Now in terms of the AI, again, just keep your eye out. Sometimes they may shift over at the last second, so be prepared to just slow down, get that overtake done, and then again just aim to keep that clean race bonus. You should have this done in around about 8 minutes on a perfect run. Overall, you're looking at around about 2 million plus credits in a single hour. This is still the best way to make money in GT7, as well as being able to do it fully AFK if you wanted to. Again, it's just a case of rinsing and repeat, restarting the event, job done. So as you can see, we did it with a fairly awkward time of an 8 minute 9 second. Again, if you do that over an hour, it's around about 2 million credits per hour. Definitely not a perfect run, and once you get used to it, it's faster and faster each time. It's 255,600 credits in that 8 minutes, as well as about 30 miles total, so you will get your daily driving marathon as well. So there we go, even after update 1.49 and all of the physics changes, the Honda Beat is still the king of the moneymakers these days. Now in terms of the AFK method, just be aware that there is times where the AI might kind of get in the way and ruin that clean race bonus, so that isn't always 100% guaranteed. However, if you do it manually, because it's such a quick short event, you're not risking losing that clean race bonus doing it for longer. So there we have it, the Honda Beat is still fully working after update 1.49. I thought I may as well just go ahead and check if it's still up and running. Of course, the physics changes have made a lot of cars very awkward or massively changed the PP rating, but this one is still intact. So thankfully there is still easier ways to go ahead and make money than the typical grinding events. I'm also looking into some more custom race methods at the minute, so if I do find any more, I'll be sure to bring them to the channel. But there you go, the trusty Honda Beat still working. Thanks for watching, take care guys, peace.